Because a lot of the time when you're looking at someone else and you're like, I really hate that about them, you're looking at your shadow self. You are suppressing your shadow self and all the dark qualities it has, and you therefore look at someone else. You see a representation of your shadow self and you say, I really don't like that quality about them. It really annoys me, or it really gets under my skin. You're looking at a reflection of yourself. What we're going to be talking about today is a very deep and dark topic, or it can be perceived that way. And it's about your shadow side or your dark side, right? This is essentially the side of every single human walking this planet that a lot of people try to pretend they don't have, right? They pretend they don't have a side that can be very aggressive, very egotistical, very control driven, right? And what you get when you suppress these sides is it exerts itself or releases itself in very passive aggressive ways throughout your life. And you come across incongruent to people because you suppress it, you ignore it, you pretend it's not there, and it therefore reveals itself in a more amplified version because you have been suppressing it. From a young age, we're taught by our parents, whenever you get angry, whenever you do something bad, don't do it, suppress it. Because as kids, we need to conform into society, we need to behave, we need to understand that we can't always do these bad things in public, and that's understandable, right? But what happens is from a young age, we are taught anything dark about ourselves, we keep it within. We don't exert these things, we don't let ourselves loose on these things because this is considered bad. Now what you get when you grow up then is you get many adults who walk around the world pretending they don't have a shadow side. They have a dark side to them that wants to do dark things, has dark fantasies, but because they suppress it and they try to give off this nice, perfect image, what happens is from time to time this releases itself. And this is why you get people who maybe attack people, or they do domestic violence, because they are suppressing a very aggressive side to them. And they'll say things like, oh, I don't know what happened, it just came over me. They're talking about their shadow side. Their shadow side just released itself because you're suppressing it too much. You cannot ignore the fact you have a dark side. Let me talk about mine for a second, right? I used to be very aggressive. I still am very impatient, egotistical, right? So what did I do about it? Instead of ignoring the fact that I have these dark qualities of being egotistical, being aggressive, being impatient, and liking control over things. For the aggressive side, I took up martial arts for 6 years, right? I done martial arts because that's where I let out all of my aggression. And do I still feel aggressive from time to time? Yes. From time to time, yes, of course I do. But it massively helped. Liking to have control over things. Ace Attraction helps with that. It's not necessarily why I started it, right? But Ace Attraction helps me have control over what I upload, what I study before I upload, when I upload, which clients I do one-to-one sessions with. I have control over all these things, right? So that eases that side of me as well. The egotistical side, I actively try to have debates with people as often as possible, and it opens my mind up to other perspectives and tells me that no, I'm not always right about things, even if I feel like I am. Right? And the impatient side of things, I haven't really found a cure to that yet. We're working on it. It's a work in progress, okay? But anyway, you need to look at yourself and say, what is it that when I look at other people, I hate about them? Because a lot of the time when you're looking at someone else and you're like, I really hate that about them, you're looking at your shadow self. You are suppressing your shadow self and all the dark qualities it has, and you therefore look at someone else. You see a representation of your shadow self and you say, I really don't like that quality about them. It really annoys me, or it really gets under my skin. You're looking at a reflection of yourself. So look at yourself for a second and say, what are my dark qualities that I don't want other people to know about, that I try to suppress, or that I see in other people that really annoy me? Ask yourself if you have these qualities yourself. And after you've figured out what these qualities are, you need to find a way to not neglect them, but let them out in a way that you're not going around killing people, right? So if you want to pick up a gun or a knife and go murder people, no. All right, let's chill out for a second. Let's find an expressive, controlled way to have an outlet for your shadow side. Like I said, aggressiveness, I done martial arts. Egotistical, I do debates. Control over things, I started up my own company. There is always a way where you can have an outlet for your shadow side. You just need to find it. And there are so many deep ways that we can go into this, but I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. There's not much left to talk about, okay? Accept your shadow side. Let me talk about some people who accept and embrace their shadow side. Simon Cowell, Rihanna, Gordon Ramsay. These are people who, yes, they can be perceived as quite mean from time to time. They have a mean streak, but they are the most respected people in their given industry. Simon Cowell in the whole talent show judging industry, and Gordon Ramsay in the chef and reality TV, right? They are leaders in their industry because they have embraced their shadow side and found a way to let it out in a way that not only entertains people, but where they can excel in bringing out the raw talent in people through assessing them and coaching them in a fair way, right? When people are around you and you have embraced your shadow side, you are not scared to let out these parts of your personality, people are drawn to you, they are magnetized by you because you are not suppressing true parts of yourself, and you therefore come across very congruent. You don't one day act like an angel and then let your shadow side slip the next day and then try to rebottle it. No, you embrace your shadow side. People are magnetized to you when you show your shadow side because it reminds them of what they were like when they were a kid. When you are a kid, when you are a young kid, before you get conditioned by the world, you let your shadow side out, right? If you want to cry to get something even though you're not really upset, you do it. If you want to go steal a toy from the living room or a cookie from the cookie jar when your parents aren't watching, you go do it, right? And am I telling you to go steal? Am I telling you to cry and manipulate people? No. I'm saying understand that there is a requirement to do that. Understand there is a necessity to do that and find an outlet for it. Do not suppress, do not ignore, do not neglect the fact that you have dark, suppressed emotions. Accept it, find an outlet for it, make it part of yourself, use it as a way to make yourself more powerful. I don't know if any of you have watched an anime called Naruto, or if you've even watched Goku, right? Goku, Vegeta, Naruto, Venom, Hulk. These are all people who have a shadow side that when they learn how to utilize it to positively benefit themselves, they become a much more amplified, enhanced, optimized version of themselves. Because I know when you see Robert Greene, again, I talk about this time and time again, you cannot suppress emotions, you cannot suppress behavioral traits. By accepting it, by understanding it and using it for your own benefit, you are truly becoming the best possible version of yourself.